we previously, Naspers had the foundry, and you guys worked a lot with, early stage startups, early stage businesses. Um, what what did that experience reveal to you in terms of what's happening within the startup slash early stage business ecosystem, South Africa's ecosystem, that is in
Yeah.
SA? Yeah.
So the early stage and startup business is something that is of critical importance
Mm.
in a developing nation like South Africa, and actually the whole continent.
Yeah.
Um, we don't have South Africa is still, and I don't, I'm not speaking badly about our banking sector. I think we have an excellent banking sector, as we all know. But from a funding perspective, particularly for startups and early stage businesses, we do as a country still tend to be quite conservative.
Mhm.
And so from that perspective, what you do find is that people with startup businesses really struggle to raise capital,
Okay.
because the type of capital that you need is not debt capital. What you need is real equity, where people and even grants for some businesses, just for them to be able to start, because we have a lot of tech creators. But they need to have funders who are going to be there with them, and for a short period of time, allowing them to grow without focusing on profitability. And then obviously, as the business matures, then being able to focus on profitability of those businesses. But in South Africa and the African continent, we don't have enough early stage and startup capital, and that is a big stumbling block, not only for the continent but also just for us as the future. I often say that when you think about it, that if Adrian Gore had not been able to garner support as a young actuary to build up his insurance business, we wouldn't have this big discovery business which has provided solutions to so many South Africans, for so many years. But it required someone to believe in him as an entrepreneur, and that is what we need for many startup entrepreneurs. And I'm very glad that he actually, and I think, given his own journey, has played a big role. So I also sit on the SME board, where we deal with startup and early stage enterprises. And I'm on that board because Naspers was an early investor, in that we were the biggest investor in the beginning stages of the SME fund. And so, that is an entity that has focused on ensuring that we provide access to capital to these early stage and startup organizations in South Africa. And when you do so, you need to also recognize that, not every organization is going to be a huge success, right? You
Yeah.
need to make room for the fact that there will be failures. You will lose capital. But that's the area of entrepreneurship. And so, that is something that is of importance to us as an organization, as Naspers, because of the fact that our background has always been in investing in businesses at an early stage. If you look at some of our most successful businesses that we own, it's businesses that we invested in while they were still startups, while they were, still at early stages. And so it's important to support startups and early stage businesses. And that is an area that continues to be a focal point for me. And I think, whilst we don't have the foundry as an active player, we do have our investments within the foundry. And so we continue to engage with organizations such as Naked and others who are funded, by the Naspers Foundry, in ensuring that they can be able to continue to have success in their businesses. But beyond that, as a group, we have also, we started this last year in India, where we looked at supporting women-owned businesses, startup businesses, and early stage businesses. And we when we put out the ad in India, we thought it would just garner just a little bit of attention, and we were astounded by the numbers of applicants that we had. And so we have continued with that. We're now going to be bringing that here to South Africa.
I was gonna. I was going to ask, is there any chance it'll come to SA?
Yes. And we'll be making an announcement soon as well with respect to that.
Alright.
And really focusing on women entrepreneurs. And this will be we will really be running a competitive process where we want to select a select number of 3 or 4 organizations who will then receive some capital, which will hopefully they'll be able to use in their businesses. But part of this is also to create the focus on these businesses so that they can have recognition from other funders
Yeah.
within our environments, so that they can be able to scale. Because for them to scale, they need funders to be behind them. So it's an important area for us to be able to focus.